finally see you in person. So, yeah, we're recording. So thanks for putting up with me for the last couple of weeks online. It's good to be here today with Luke and Abe. Lucky last day. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found it scoping for what you're going to maybe come across in the industry as well, and maybe how you're going to use technology like PLM moving forward. Okay. So today we want to take you from where you've been with digital as CAD documents, all that sort of stuff, and sort of evolve that, how we can use that CAD data and Windchill to drive what we call immersive experiences, or what we have is Vuforia or AR. Does anybody know what AR stands for?
Augmented reality.
Yep, cool. And what's the other version of it? Starting with V.
Virtual reality.
Yeah, VR. So anybody can tell me the difference between the two?
Virtual reality, like submerged into like a virtual scenario.
Yep.
Whereas augmented reality, it's using digital data plus real life.
So it overlays.
Yeah, it's overlaying it.
Awesome. So virtual, yes, dead right, encloses you into an immersive environment. So in industry, unfortunately, that's dangerous because you're not aware of your surroundings. Okay, it's great in a controlled environment, but out in industry, no, it's a no. So therefore, augmented reality is what's taking over in industry. So for service guys going out to machines and whatever, they can put HoloLenses on. Everybody heard of the HoloLens? Yeah, or some sort of 3D eyewear, and they can actually see the instructions over the top of the machine. And they're also then very aware of their surroundings for safety and bits and pieces like that. Okay, so that's why augmented reality is really starting to take to the fore. Okay, because of safety through it. So today, what we want to do is actually take you through that experience. Okay, so with us today, we have some various examples of different types of media and also different types of application. Okay, to take you through that. So you've been working on the car with me with the Windchill, and you've been adding documents and having a look at it and rotating it and seeing all that. I think last week you guys even actually, and girls, sorry, you actually even progressed and used Creo View to do some measurement for me in detection. Okay, so Windchill married with a Creo View, theoretically you can actually look at any CAD data at all, CAD neutral data. Okay, it does not have to be PTC product, it can be anything. And that's the beauty of our product, right? We are CAD neutral, okay? Very open language and CAD neutral moving forward. So it doesn't matter who you go to work with in future, hopefully this Windchill PLM platform is a platform that can work for any customer that you go to, okay? So moving on today, what I want to do is I'm going to take you through a bit of a quick quiz of what you may and may not have learned during the lessons that I've had online, okay? Pretty simple, pretty easy. We will do it probably, because we're very spread out, we'll do it individually, if that's okay. Yesterday, we were in Parramatta and it was a bit more condensed, so we did it in sort of 10 minutes, okay? So we'll do that this morning, just to start off the process. And then I'll start talking to you a little bit about AR and where it comes from Windchill and things like that, okay? So has anybody heard of the PTC Vuforia app? No? Yeah, you have?
Yeah, I don't play around with it.
You have already?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well done. Well done.
Okay.
Just to kick off the scene, how about we do that first? Right, so go to, everybody's got a phone and everybody's got internet reception, which I didn't have this morning. If you go to the Play Store, can you please find an app for me called Vuforia View, V-U-R, right? View, V-U-F-R, sorry, Vuforia View. Okay, it's a green triangle. As you notice, everything from PTC has that green color about it. And I'd like you to download that app, please, and have it on your phone. Okay, because what we're going to do today is actually show you how you can use your own phone to leverage that platform. You do not need flash equipment to use AR. Okay, so what we want to do is take you through that today. But obviously, if you've already played around with it, by using now 3D glasses and even an iPad, it's going to be the experience is so much better. Okay, so we'll take you through today. That's the one, the green pyramid, if you like, square with a white green pyramid. Yep. So just blow that for me. Now I'm going to ask you not to sort of go in and have a bit of a look around, but we're all ready to move on to the next sort of stage. Okay. So, because what I'm going to get you to do to start off with the phones, and then we'll build our experiences to better and better and better and better. Okay? But the beauty of having it on a phone, what would be the benefit of having it on a phone? Cost.
can use it whenever you want.
Yeah, but companies don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? They don't have to buy a computer. They don't have to buy anything. You can go, hey, you use your own phone and here's the instructions. Click on that and away you go. Okay, so it makes it very quickly and readily available to everybody. There's not a lot of investment. The investment's actually getting the software and developing the experience, but for viewing it, it's free. Okay, so from that perspective, it's been marketed very, very well. Right, so what I'd like to do today is
You're on the wrong one.
I'm on the wrong one. I'll just go page down. Where's your page? This one.
It might have to come out.
We'll get rid of all that.
Yeah.
You already know who Leap are. I apologise for that. You already know who Luke and I are. We've already introduced ourselves. This one is good though. Please, thanks for letting us present this short course to you. We'd love your feedback as well. So I believe you have to do a feedback form for your open learning. Is that right? I think that's part of the requirements. I believe it's a prerequisite. So just please be honest. If you can see any improvements or whatever, if you can see some benefits, whatever, please write it down and give us some honest feedback. That'd be really cool. Okay. Is there any questions from last week? Is there any questions from any of the weeks? No? Okay. Okay. Righto. So I think just a quick intro with it. Windchill, obviously we all know now what a PLM system is, and we know the difference, hopefully, between a PDM and a PLM. So product data management only compared to PLM, which is a product lifecycle management, right? So we can control the whole product from design, get away from behind that. Product lifecycle, we can take it right from design, right through concept, service, the whole lot, and actually even retire it and control the retirement of that product, and maybe even rework some of it and bring it back into a new design. So we can control the whole product lifecycle. Okay. So that's about what that is. In short terms. So this micro-credential has been about introducing, and I think I've said it a few times, I don't want you to walk away from that thinking you're not an expert. This course was not designed to make you an expert. Right? This course was all designed about trying to just expose you to what you may see coming up in the industry. Okay. So everybody can use Office products. That's a generic given, right? So hopefully now when you go into industry, this may be a given, that you'll start looking at PLM software. Who does project management? Anybody does project planning? Use Microsoft Gantt? You guys know? Because that's another product that you'll get involved in engineering. When you start doing designs, you'll have to actually lay out a Gantt chart of the design sequence. We already have that in PLM as well. So that's a module into a Windchill, and it's linked directly to the parts. So you can start to plan, even in Windchill, the development process. Okay. Right. So hopefully you've taken on board the idea that this is just an eye-opening session more than anything else, right? But wish you well in your endeavours. What, your first, second year? Third year? 30th? 40th. Right. I've got a bit of everything. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, hopefully it just adds to your another arrow to your bow your arrow, theoretically, and moving forward. So we've got some FSAE team guys here. Solica. So different again, right? Bit of competition between the two. Way cooler, right? Okay. Right. So, can I clarify which one goes faster?
Solar cars.
Really?
Yeah, 130. But the acceleration of the solar and turning is not great. Details.
As long as it's in a straight line, we're away. Okay. So it's amazing how things are evolving from when I worked back. It was just motor petrol, if you like, right? And now we're going to EV, we're going to solar and whatnot. So things are evolving big time. So obviously batteries are sort of a focus in industry. So no doubt, as you guys or girls go into industry, the industry is going to be more diverse, okay, because of those influences coming in. Okay. So as I think I've declared a few times, it doesn't matter what industry you go to, PLM will cover that product cycle. As long as you build a bill of materials, right, of the product, which is like the recipe of the product, you can track and follow and design anything, okay, moving forward. Righto. So what I want to do today, we've touched on theoretically project management, we've touched on CAD, right, 3D design, and we've touched on all the things that Windchill could do for us as a product. There's a few things that haven't been highlighted. Around the outside is some of the industries, right, that can feed into PLM. Okay, so you may see an industry there, like material compliance or medical, that you're actually interested in going into when you go out of university. Okay, you may already be doing work experience, I'm not sure, in some of these industries around. Okay, but it shows you, what I'm trying to show you there is the total feed, if you like, and continual feedback on that continual design loop within any industry and with the design department. Okay. Right, we talked about industry 4, part identification. Everybody's happy with a part assembly, the difference between the two, right? Everybody's happy with being now in industry 4, not in the old days of industry 1, right? The old steam, okay? And who's thought and heard about industry 5? No, a little bit. Everybody's who has a 5G phone? Yep, so we've got half, right? Why 5G? Is it just because it's the latest and greatest? Is it faster? Is it better?
It's faster.
Faster?
Internet connection sort of thing. Yeah, it's faster internet, I guess.
Guess what? That's what technology is doing for us. And because of that speed, we can now do visualization. Obviously, you can download videos and all that now a lot easier. But for us, for industry, for software, we can actually collaborate a lot quicker anywhere, right? So hence a platform like Windchill, being a very visual type product, a lot faster. Information can be spread everywhere. Okay, so industry, so the original 3G, right, 4G, 5G, all it's done is increased our speed and allowed our technology to grow with that. Okay, and that's the whole idea of it. Okay, so currently industry 4, industry 5 is coming. If I click on the next screen, you may, no, wrong one. What's the base platform coming in right at the moment? The pun word for industry 5. Can anybody help? What's the new?
AI.
Yeah, AI. That's a new thing coming on board. Okay. Who's worried about AI? That is this generation. Let it come. Whatever. Okay. So today you're actually going to be using AI. Our software today, a portion of our software today, will actually demonstrate to you a form of AI. Right. So PTC as a company developed what we call narrow-minded AI or narrow brand AI. So it's not smart as in self-thinking. It's smart because we've defined boundaries. So it can't go outside those boundaries. Okay. So you've got narrow AI and broad AI or self-thinking AI. Okay. So today you will see a form of AI, narrow AI, helping us with our augmented reality. Okay. And I'll show you that when we come across it. So that's theoretically industry 5 already coming into today. Okay. Today we have a bit of a look at. Righto, we talked about revision control. The beauty of PDM and PLM, the start of it is you can, as any engineer should know, his design needs to be protected, right? So nobody can touch a design. And it needs to be revised control, because then you need to know what revision you're up to if you're making changes and things along the way, right? And if you need to know, everybody else needs to know what the latest is, what you're allowing to be manufactured. And this is a form of control of that. So you may change it. You may be developing it. You don't want anybody to see that while you're developing. Windchill can allow you to do that as well. So at any level, you can control your designs to let certain people, all people, no people see what you do. Okay. So it's a very good tool for engineering. And that's where everything starts, right? From you guys and girls, engineering is the start of everything. 3D. The 3D CAD design is the start of the digital platform. Okay. But everybody's happy with that. I learned something yesterday, and I'm going to try and explain it today. Okay. So in our bill of materials, I've mentioned with Windchill, this WT part, the G part. And I think I've probably iterated it many times. So the W2 is a Windchill technology part. So in Windchill, when you go into Windchill, you'll be able to see 2 versions of the same part, a Windchill part and a CAD part. Have you recognized that when you've gone through? Okay. The mistake I made, I found out yesterday, is every part in Windchill has a serialized number with it, right? It's just a next generic number. So those 2 parts, even though they're the same and they're named the same, they'll have a different serialized number. Does that make sense? To make them unique. So in Windchill, every serial number or every number is unique. So today, when I do a little bit of an exercise, well, actually we did it last week. You may have seen that there was two numbers for the same part. Did anybody come across that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why. Because you were looking either at the WT part or you were looking at the CAD part, and you took the serialized number from either of those parts. Okay, so again, that's my error in my worksheet, so I apologize for that. Okay, but we're happy with how Windchill stores that information, all the attributes, all the metadata that it can store, and that's out of the box. Okay, you can customize Windchill to store any information that you have, right, or you collect. Okay. Right, Windchill, the benefit of it is the bill of materials. With you guys in your car, who's controlling the bill of materials? They all look at each other and go, he is. Okay.
The bill of materials is kind of managed by the person that does their each sub-assembly at the end of manufacturing.
So everybody has a task.
Yeah, so we're all split up into teams. So someone doing front suspension will kind of look after the bill of materials for their components. Someone doing like the motor design and do their bill of materials.
Yep. And who brings it together? What platform are you using to try and bring that all together?
We haven't really.
So it's not together yet.
We haven't consolidated it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so Windchill would be a great tool for that.
Yeah.
At somebody at a high level to be able to start bringing those components together. And guess what? They can then visualize those components going together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So do these guys have access to Windchill? Yeah. Not at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we are sponsored by Leap Australia, so there is a connection.
Okay. Are you using Answers, I suppose?
Yep.
Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. So that was a perfect example where isolated teams are working on different products, but they're not actually, how do I know this part fits this part? How do I know that part's going to fit this part?
Just massive assembly.
So you're doing it from a CAD perspective,
Yeah.
right? But you're not doing it from a revision control type segment. Okay. Yeah. So theoretically, that would be a great project to put in the PLM to start to manage that, okay, and then start to revise. So all of a sudden, if the front end did change, everybody would see that something's changed. Shit, therefore my mudguard's got to change, my calendar might change. You know, it can affect everybody down the okay. So just think of the application there of how it could help you move forward, with different things. And I think I showed in one of my demos where we actually had the rules of the FSAE team associated to the part. So everybody could click on the same document and see the same rules straight away without having to go to the internet and all that, right? So it saves time. And the whole idea of Windchill for engineers is to save you time so you do better designs. Concentrate on what you're good at. Paperwork and administration is a laborious thing in industry, trust me. Okay, and the more you can get away from it, the better you'll be, the happier you'll be, okay? So Windchill will help you with that as well. Okay. We all know what a bomb is. I can keep going for that. We all linked the document. We managed to do that, I think, easily, right? We linked the document to a part. We found a part that wasn't checked out. We could actually check it out ourselves. We could link a document to it, and then we could check that part back in, okay? So therefore, we could control that process, and nobody else could touch that file until we checked it back in. Okay, and we linked an actual, just a text document, and I think you also saw that there was a URL there that we could actually look into as well, okay? Now, again, we need a Creo view to open up the document. Okay, so Creo view is that viewing document in Windchill marries with to be able to let you see that data. Okay. Right. Change management process is a very unique thing. How do you guys control your design process, change design process in your Solar Cup? You don't have one, probably. Yeah, so if something has to be changed, let's say the rules change. Let's say the wheelbase changes. Yep. How do you populate that information to your team?
I guess the team's often kind of agile and fast moving enough, but we just schedule a small meeting at relative people like kind of talking to each other.
Yeah, or like we can send it out in a message.
In a message,
right? Everything, this has changed, and then we have records in our message.
And do you have a vote and go, yes, we'll all make that change, or is it dominant?
Changing something that drastic.
Well, that's right. And the trouble is, engine changes are drastic. Even the minuscule one can affect somebody over here working on a design or whatever. Okay, let's say somebody over here is purchasing the tires, and you just change the ring diameter because the rules changed,
Mm.
right? They need to know that like yesterday, right? So something like PLM allows that design change to go through important people and go, well, hang on, whoa. I've already ordered tires. We can't do that change, or we need a rework, or we need to do something. Okay, so the idea of PLM is, yes, having a meeting, but electronically have a meeting so you disseminate that information immediately.
Mm.
And then people have an input and you able to say, hey, listen, whatever, I've already got this half designed or done. So again, it controls that change management process, right? Down the line. From the very first, do we need it? Why do we need it? Is it important? Can we keep it? Can we not? Do we have to change it? Do we have to rework it? Right, so it goes down that decision process and protocol, okay? So it's very good at that. So theoretically, at the end of the day, we make better decisions together, okay? So there's a process, a change request. Somebody may see a quality issue and they can raise an issue in Winchell, which expedites a change request, right? And therefore it disseminates tasks to people to do to make sure it gets populated, okay? Righto. So that's my overview. Sorry to bore you. Okay, so today, day 3, we want to start taking you from PLM through to the digital transformation, right? We want to go from PLM to Creo View, which was good. We want to now take you to immersive Creo View, which is called View Forward. Okay, so you actually see the product in 3D. Okay, we want to start integrating that PLM into Industry 4. Okay, I'm happy with that. So this doesn't scare you at all, AI? Nope. Nope.
Yeah, I mean,
So when Google first got into AI and it developed a computer and a language, it actually put 2 computers together, right, to start testing AI. Can anybody tell me what happened to those 2 computers? They started to converse in a language that the people programming it didn't start to understand. Okay. So even though they started the process of design engineers of the 2 machines, they actually started to communicate and then communicate in a language that the programmers themselves didn't understand. So they couldn't plug. Because the computers started to talk to each other and learn. That's a bit hairy, scary, I think, right? If we can create that now. Right, so we've got to be very careful. So what if, so AI, let's give it an example of good AI. What's a good version of good AI? Something that's going to help us do something every day. It's not going to try and impinge on our lifestyle or anything like that, right? So at the moment we use AI for, who likes getting marketing on their Facebook? You know, so they go through and they understand what you're looking at all the time. So that's a form of AI, right? It's starting to understand what you like, your preferences and all that. So it starts to bombard you with marketing material, right? I don't think there's a person in the room that actually likes that. It gets in our way, right? But that's a form of AI. But it's a form of good AI to a point. What if it goes to the other side where all you are going to be seeing is marketing and nothing else? So somebody's starting to force their opinion on you using that data, using that technology, right? So just think about how far it can go left field, right? So at the moment, AI is being used for gambling, okay? Used for controlling different forms of, if you like, preferences and voting and things like that. So it's benefiting certain people, not everybody. Does that make sense? So therefore, at AI, so there are people out there at the moment, who's had their accounts hacked? Has anybody in the room been involved in any of the hacks? So it started off with Optus, right? Then it went to the banks. Now it's going to medical, right? It's getting quite prevalent, isn't it? The hacking, okay? Right? So there are people out there that don't have good intentions. So do you think they're using AI and going, oh, no, I shouldn't be using that because it's not the right thing to do? Hell no, right? I want to use AI more because then I can get into more accounts. Then I can exploit more people and then I can get more money, right? So AI, it's there. It can be used for good. And I believe immensely it can be used for bad. Okay? And we need to control that and understand what it will do to us in the future if we let it go without check. Okay, so it's obvious. Is it a discussion in your engineering group at all, AI or anything like that? No, nothing at all. Okay, so just for me, just to keep an eye on it for yourselves, just see where it wanders. Is it going to the good side? Great. Is it going to make our lives better? Great. Right? Is it going to make our lives easier? Great. Or is it going to go the other way? Right? I hope like hell it doesn't go the other way. Okay. So the whole idea is to make it our life easier, better, safer. I'm all for it. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Righto. So Industry 4, if I look at it now, with your race car, you can now connect your race car to windshield, and we can understand telemetry. We can understand sensors. We can understand how much charging capacity it's got left in it remotely. We can monitor it. We can use IoT. We can use the internet to get those signals back, and we can then plot that on a graph through ThingWorks, put it in the windshield, so we can close that loop. Okay, but it tells me that devices are to grow around 50 billion devices globally. Okay, that's huge. You imagine how much data is getting created by those devices, and that's only now, right? And there's a growing need for you guys and girls to understand those sensors and the data and analytics and what you can do with that data, okay? And then how we use that data to our own benefit. So if you're seeing an engine, let's say a battery, right? The temperature of the battery is going up. As you draw the current through it, the temperature is going up. With AI, you can set thresholds, right? So when it gets to a certain level, when that data comes in with our apps, it'll actually start to warn you and actually predict what's going to happen with that battery temperature-wise, okay? So we can start to get predictive analysis going on using our technology as well, okay? So there's some great benefits, but again, we've just got to be very careful about what we do with it and where you guys jump on the bandwagon and start to look at that data and how you get involved in the technology, okay? Right, so PTC has a concept. Everybody's heard of the term yin and yang, okay? So PTC has this digital foundation. That's where everything starts. And obviously we have a physical component to our lifestyle. And PTC have a philosophy where we want to connect the digital to the physical, okay? And how do we do that? Right, so at the moment we have CAD PLM, which is digital. Do you agree? You guys have played with CAD and you've played with windshield, right? So you've been playing with the digital. You've looked at CreoView, which is also digital, right? And you're also playing with the actual car itself out in the engineering shop. So you've played with the physical as well, right? You may have sent information to 3D printers. You may have sent information to CNC machines or whatever from your CAD data. Now what we want to do is start to get that information back, right? Through IoT, through the Internet of Things. We want to get that data back from the physical to make sure our digital is correct, right? We want that feedback. And when we get that feedback, then we can go back the other way and we can change our design and make it better, better and better. So that's that closed loop, right? But what we also want to do is when we get that data back, we want to overlay that data on the actual. Does that make sense? We want to simulate what would happen to that battery as the temperature grows. We want to see that information on the car, right? So therefore we use AR to help us do that, to overlay that information over the car, okay? So we're going to try and show you a little bit of that today, okay? By doing all this, it allows engineers to work smarter, not harder, hopefully, okay, for you people in the future. Right. So a quick video, if you don't mind, and then we'll move on. Did it not come through? Yeah. Cannot play media. Oh, okay. All right. So today we're going to look at the product called Vuforia or Vuforia View. The technology is Vuforia, which is AI, and the app actually is called Vuforia View. Okay, so what we're going to see is this digital convergence today. And you'll notice the yin and the yang symbol I showed you earlier. Notice the PTC symbol. It's like two hands. So again, the yin and the yang type philosophy coming through from PTC. Okay, not that I want to force that idea onto you, the yin and the yang, but okay. So 3 stages of transformation for us, as long as you understand, and this course is all about having a better understanding. Okay, that's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, no expectations. It's just that. Right. But as you move forward, and hopefully get into Win3, where you can see or you can implement with you guys in the team, maybe you can implement PLM and discover the benefits of it, right? Maybe you go in industry and they have PLM, and then you can discover, and you're sort of on the ground floor, you understand what it can do for you, right, and how to use it. And then obviously when you are using it, obviously you want to outperform. You want to push the boundaries, right? You want to communicate. You want to get your designs out there. You want to change the designs quickly. You want to get designs to market a lot quicker. You can use Windchill to do that, right, to help you get to that level. Okay. Right, so today we've looked at digital definition down the bottom here. Right, we started there. We've now gone up to design and connectivity, right, where we're sharing our information across the board. Okay. So Joy Global, anybody understand who Joy Global is? They're an international mining company, right? One of our customers. They are actually using the IoT where they have their sensors on their underground mining machines. And they can remotely monitor those machines above ground and to see how they're performing. So they don't have to be actually on the machine. And hence, as the temperatures and pressures change of the machine or whatever, they can actually see those and they can then predict how the machine's performing using predictive analysis. Okay, so that technology is actually now being used already in mining. In medical, everybody heard of the digital twin? The pun word digital twin, right? Is where we actually have a product, real physical product and a design product. We can change the design product parameters, right, to see simulate what may happen with the real product. Okay, so we use that sort of formula to help us understand what's going to happen. Righto, so today we are going to go on to distributed AR or VR products. Only AR in our case, we don't do VR as a solution, right? We leave VR to the more gaming and the training type environment where you're in a closed controlled environment. Okay, maybe more simulation type environment, simulators and things like that. Okay, but one of the people that really do push AR and the whole technology is Lockheed Martin. Who's heard of Lockheed Martin? Yep. So heavily into defense, aircraft, into a whole lot of things. Okay, so they call the IoT, they actually call it a digital, they don't call it a digital thread, they call it a digital tapestry that they use. That's their pun word, right? And they've got hundreds of thousands of users worldwide using Windchill and the technology to help them promote designs quicker, moving forward, okay? So they even have their suppliers hooked in, their manufacturers hooked in, right? Everybody sees the data that they need to share, okay? So again, their products get made quicker, faster, revised quicker, better products moving forward, okay? Righto. So who found the Windchill interface nice and easy to use? Go on, be honest. No, it was crap. Right? It is. It's a difficult. It's a complex platform. Right? There's a lot of information there. There's a lot you can do with it. Right? It's not just a simple step 1, step 2, step 3. It is quite an elaborate system, and hence it needs some form of education and training on it to make better use of it. Okay. So with PTC, we actually have the ability to use the IoT to make that system a little bit easier for us to see. Okay, so not everybody has to be an expert in Windchill. We allow people in, right? Now, if I go down to the next slide. So again, it doesn't matter where you're from, what industry you are, what department you're at, right? We can use Windchill to help us. And normally Windchill is now hosted on the cloud. Who's aware of the cloud? Anybody using cloud services here at all? Yep. Is the team on the cloud at all or no?
Yeah, we use Enterprise Google Drive for all of our CAD file backups.
Yep. Okay. So anywhere anybody can grab them from Google and bring them down from the cloud, right? So therefore they're not saved on a hard drive, a disk, a USB or whatever. Okay. So that's awesome. Great technology. Do you care about security? Yep. Who's looking after security? Google. So you're putting a lot of faith in Google. Right? I don't have a go at Google, trust me. It's just whoever hosts those platforms, Azure, Google, they have a lot of responsibility to make sure that their technology is locked up, that people can't hack, because all your information is there. Who has an Apple phone? Half the class? Yep. So you back up your Apple phone, don't you, to the Apple Cloud or whatever? No, nobody. Oh, no. Is that a non-thing anymore? Oh, you got to pay for it now. Oh, okay. Everybody's out for $1, right? No more free services. It's the funny thing. They introduce you to it, get you using it. Oh, now it's a subscription, or you got to buy it or whatever. Okay, but trust me, we're no better. When you have our software, it is a subscription basis or whatever else. But so everything is going to the cloud, right? But we're starting to hear now. What was the latest cyber attack that you heard of? It was a health company in Queensland that held the private records of people, right, that visited certain clinics and whatnot that have been hacked. Okay. Now, do you want that information spread out and about? So unfortunately, it's been becoming more prevalent, cybersecurity and hacks and things like that. Okay. So again, think twice about where your data is living, who can access your data. And this goes to Facebook as well. Who can see your data? Have you got your profile locked down that people can't see some of your images, some of your friends, some of your network or whatever? Because obviously that can be hacked as well. Okay. So whilst we push a platform and we push IoT and connectivity, PTC are very aware of what the cyber security is required and the password and access and things like that moving forward. Okay. But theoretically, we need to change the way we operate. And by using a PLM, everybody can communicate on that basis. The part doesn't matter where and what department you're in. Is everybody in engineering here, or somebody got somebody from other business? Yep.
Industrial design.
Industrial designers, yeah. That's like electrician and a fitter. You know, they just don't. Yeah, this is just how. Any other?
It's like,
Okay. Righto, we're in trouble.
no, I want to use it for good.
That's it. So in the room we have the yin and the yang. Okay, it's awesome. Okay, no problems at all. No, welcome. Thank you. Because it does take all types, all industries to work together to get better designs. We need to have the more compassionate side of our designs and things like that. I used to work with a company called Email, which is Electrolux, Westinghouse, right? And some of our fridges, that's what a man designed a fridge. One of the best fridges that was developed was by a woman, because she had a concept of usage and things like that, and the design just flowed. Okay, so we do need that interoperability, and PLM or Windchill helps us do that by communicating, getting feedback and whatnot. Okay, so we need to get out of our silo, and we need to interact and understand what other people do. Okay, but so be ready. That's all I can ask. What should you be ready for? Change. I think you said it today. AI is coming, I don't care. So you're already prepared for change, okay? You're very adaptive. I think Luke put it best where he said to the, if there's a shortcut to be found, you people will find it, okay? Very, very adaptive. It's good. No, and it's great technology, because I saw it yesterday, actually, when we did and you guys and girls are going to do the same exercise for me today. So it'll be interesting, the difference that we have between the two teams. Okay, where should you focus? You should focus on yourself. Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? How much do you want to earn? Right? It is all about you, right? But take the technology with you that you need to be able to develop yourself. Okay, so hopefully everybody in this room's got a bit of a career plan. There's not just this end of uni and then I'll see what happens. Hopefully there's a bit of a plan outside of uni and you're working towards that. Okay. Now keep in mind, Leap is a software supplier, but we do have engineers in the background actually using our software to help partners and companies answer problems. Right. So we do often take on university students and whatnot into our ranks, be it for work experience, be it for whatever. So if you're interested and you're looking around, keep us in mind. Have a look at our website. Have a look at what we do. Right. So it may be an avenue that you like. Who writes apps here? Anybody? Anybody into app writing? Right. Awesome. Because that's going to be a huge requirement moving forward in engineering, especially with Windchill. right, where we can actually write our own apps, right, and make it easier for our people to see the information. Okay. So if you're interested in that thing, there is a distinct career path in that form. Okay. And how much value will you get out of it? Let me talk abusively, shitloads. Okay. If you accept the technology, immerse yourself in the technology, right, and use it to your advantage, you will reap the rewards. Okay. So keep that open mind, right, and use it to your advantage. Okay. This is not going to play either, so we'll forget that one. Righto. Now, I'll skip this if you don't mind, because we've only been here for a short, right? Because the videos would have taken up a little bit of time. I talked about apps. Okay, so I asked you how hard Windshield was used, and I got eyes rolled at the back and go, yeah, it was garbage, right? It was hard to use and whatever. And I understand, right? Because if you're not using it every day, it is a chore. You've got to somewhat become familiar with it. So in Windshield, we have what we call expert users. So they saw the interface that you interface, where they actually put information in and they manipulate information, they do all that. And then we have the other side of the boundary, where we have the users or the viewers, if you like, of Windshield. So purchasing. For people purchasing parts for your car, you probably do your own purchasing, is that right? Yep. Yep. Let's say you have this gentleman over here doing all your purchasing. What information does he need to see?
Part number, supplier, quantity.
Yep.
Timelines and when we need it.
That's it.
Attention.
So that's all data that he can just view. So he actually doesn't need Windshield access. So he needs a simpler screen to be able to go into Windshield to see that data. Okay, because you've already done the hard work where you've found a supplier, you've probably done a quote. He has to get 3 quotes because that's company policy, right? So he gets an idea from you, and then he goes out and gets 3 quotes, and then he feeds them back to you and go, right, which one do you think is the best, and whatever, which one is quality assurance? We prefer to go that way because the company's better, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so PTC have developed, using IoT, a product called ThingWorks. Okay. Now, it's a funny acronym, ThingWorks. It's because it can connect to anything. Okay. It's an easy pun to remember, right? So ThingWorks is a platform that PTC developed so it can connect using IoT to anything and bring that information back into its own software to make it better. Okay. So it uses the IIoT, which is the industrial Internet of Things. Has everybody heard that? Compared to just IoT, right? So we have the industry IoT, right? And it uses ThingWorks as a centerpiece of PTC to then leverage the technology and allows us to build smart, build faster, okay, and also build enterprise. Right. Now, ThingWorks for us is the benefits. It has made some simple apps. So everybody has a phone, everybody has apps on their phone, right? So you imagine you had an app on your phone that says, oh, let me view Windshield. And that app opened up on your phone and allowed you to peer in to see the data into Windshield. And that's exactly what's been developed, right? If I go down to this next screen, hopefully, right? So we don't want the complex. We want the simple. Okay. How easy would that be? You see the first, it says view what? Design files, view drawings. What is it? Next one. My eyes are going. View part numbers, view bill of materials, view parts list, whatever. So you know that complex interface you guys just, all that information can easily be gone out to an app for anybody else. So purchasing, all you have to do is click on that, type a part number in, bingo. It gives you access to full visualization just like you've had. Okay, there you go. Very similar screen, information-wise, but very nicely laid out. Okay, so what we've done is taken Windshield from a platform from an expert user, the information across to just a viewer and a user, and make it a lot easier to disseminate that information to everybody. Okay, so we're not going to show you that today. There's no real need to integrate that with Windshield, but what we've done is showed you Windshield for a reason. Why is that? To show you the backbone of bill of materials, how to build, why it is so important, right? So that's why we took you through that digital path, if you like, right? CAD design. That's the building foundation, bill of materials, right? And then we get that information off. Now that you've done all the hard work, guess what? All that information can be seen by everybody through just simple apps. Now, these apps, and I said to the gentleman in the corner, if he's keen on doing apps, you imagine the apps you can write for a company to get the information they need. Okay? So therefore, they can just have it on their phone, they're out in the field, they can see any information that the company wants them to. So if you're into that, as I said, app building, it's going to become very, very important. So you'll notice on that phone, you can actually see the product. Right? You can actually rotate that product on the phone. So these little phones are unfortunately becoming very, very a necessary evil for us, right? But we're using it to our advantage, using IoT, okay? So you'll notice there I've got ThingWorx, Navigate, View, OOTV. What's OOTV mean? Anybody? I did say it earlier, sorry. Out of the box. It's a pun word that we use, meaning that when you buy our software, it comes in a default vanilla flavor out of the box. And then it's customized, right, to your requirements. So there's not one install that we have, or not any two installs are the same. So Windchill is highly configurable, right? So therefore a company can develop any way they like. Now, who's heard of SAP? Right? Geez, that's a good thing. Okay, right. So SAP is an ERP program that's very popular in the industry as well. Okay, and it's highly configurable and high customizable, right? So just like Windchill. Okay. So what we're doing out of the box capabilities, meaning we can view a document, we can view a drawing, right? We can view, what is it? Procedures, properties, components list, structures. We can even download drawings from it, right? We can see PDFs, we can do all that, right? And we can download a drawing bundle. So for purchasing, he may want to download the whole, let's say, left side strut front end of your car. He can actually do that as a bundle and send it off to a supplier just by using an app. Okay? So that technology, how easy is that to get out to people, for people to access? Okay, so that's just using the IoT technology, right? So he has full access to the parts list, the bill of materials. He has full access to the viewing, right? This is where I said where apps you can start to build your own. On the right-hand side there, we can actually link it to the stores. And we can actually see product quantity coming back into Windchill, right, through ThingWorx. Okay. Now, stock accuracy is a very high, it's a critical thing for business to understand what stock levels they have of product. Because if a product changes, they need to know how many they've got in stock, where they need to throw them away, rework them, or do whatever they do to them, right? Every year, why do companies do a stock take? Anybody? Sorry, tax. You get right. They have to pay tax on how much stock they have. So that's why they have stock take sales. Get rid of it. We don't want to pay tax on. Okay. So they need to know what stock they have because they have to pay tax on. So it's like an audit. Okay. So I had a customer that when you do a stock take, you get a spreadsheet which just has a series of numbers, part numbers, and a description. And the poor storeman's got to walk around and go, oh, location E1, I'm after a widget. There's no widget here. So I should have 100, I've got 0. So all of a sudden the company's writing off 100 because they can't find them. We've introduced ThingWorx to them. And guess what? The storeman now has a picture of a widget. He can rotate a widget. Oh, hang on, I saw that widget over here. So now all of a sudden their stock becomes a lot more accurate. We're giving the storeman a lot more information, just not a part number. We're giving them a picture. And what do they say about visualization? It helps immensely for us to visualize something. A picture tells 1,000 words to us. And when we start to put a picture together with a word, we remember. Okay? And that's how we do remember. Something visual and something tangible. Okay? So that's our ThingWorx platform. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. We can see the drawing, we can see the PDF, whatever format we wanted to print out. We can do all that. So therefore, our purchasing man over here can actually see the revision, the part, the BOM, the bill of materials, all that sort of stuff. We can see PDFs. We can get a drawing bundle, as I said, right? And we can then easily email that out. Okay. So the whole idea is just to obviously try and get that information out to our industry or our enterprise as quick as we can. Okay. Why? Because I want to give you your 25% back. Do you remember my first week? I told you you would be wasting 25% of your time when you're in industry. because you'd be searching for stuff, trying to find revisions, answering questions to other people that want design problems done. You'll be wasting that much time doing administration. It will drive you nuts. This all is an attempt to try and help you get that 25% back. Use technology to your advantage. Let somebody else search for the information that you've put into that system, and you've gone on and put more information in. You can keep moving forward. Okay? Don't get held back with the 25%. Okay, so hopefully it'll make your life just that little bit easier as an engineer, and all those people can go away and they can talk to theoretically an app or Winchell. Okay. Righto. So we've looked at the platform, we've looked at PLM, the platforms, but now today we want to move on. Today we want to start going into the IoT, and we want to start going into AR. That's where the benefits are. I think we've got we've been here for an hour now. We've still got 2 hours. I don't want to bite into our practical time too much. I apologise, right? But we want to start looking at AR. Okay. So I'm going to not go into ThingWorks too much. Right. Actually, what I would like to do is do an interactive quiz with you, if that's all right. Right. The reason I do this is because we have to have some form of what's the word I'm looking for? Approval that you've done the course and bits and pieces. So these aren't stapled. So if I hand some of them out. So these aren't stapled. Hang on. Yep. These are the old ones. Some of those are sorry.
The ones that we had.
Yeah, they're the ones. Yeah. So I'm going to ask that this quiz you guys and girls do by yourself, right? What I'm after, unfortunately it's 3 pages. You look and you go, holy dooly, but it's not that hard, really. All through the last 3 weeks, I have been spitting out acronyms, right? And I do apologise, but it's PTC's problem. Everything they do is via an acronym. Okay. So what I'd like to do is go through. Have we got enough? Yep. Yeah, all good. Everybody's got a sheet. Everybody's. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is just duck down to. Where is that PowerPoint? The PowerPoint's gone. No, the PowerPoint. I want that PowerPoint. Oh, what have you got there? PLM digital thread. Oh, that's the theory. I want this one. Yeah. Oh, you have to eject it. So obviously the first one is CAD, very easy, computer-aided design. It's evolved. It used to be called computer-aided drafting years ago when that first started, right? So what I'd like you to do is slowly work your way through that list. Only answer what you can answer, quickly go through it, right? And I'd just like to get a gauge of how much information we've disseminated across, and what, if you like, what sections have stuck and what sections haven't along the way. Okay. Yes. She actually came up with a voucher, $50 voucher. She said you're going to come up with a $100 voucher.
Not 100, but yeah, there's going to be a $50 voucher. I think we're going to get it first.
Okay, so it's not a race, right? Well, let me define that. I want it to be accurate. Okay, so the first person to actually complete the form and to be the most accurate will win a $50 voucher from the university. Okay, so I appreciate Carla's and the FOF, is it? It's from the Factory of the Future. Launchpad. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for the offer. That's awesome. So guys and girls, there's a $50 voucher offer on the first and most accurate presentation of this form. Okay, so have a go. Again, only answer what you can. go through as quick as you can. And I might give a few hints along the way, but we'll see.
So how many in the team?
Sorry?
How many in the team? I feel like they're working.
No, they're not working. They're working individually.
So individually today?
Yeah, yesterday we worked in teams. We're a little bit more spread out today, so everybody's just going off on their own. I like it. We've got full competition today, right? We've just got, yeah. So yesterday when in teams, I got some people to start from the back, some people to start from the front, right? And then they had to then share their information, okay? This way, unfortunately, it's all up to your own individual self.
Sure.
Yes.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Valid question.
It's the same.
I have
Oh.
no idea.
It's just taken
Yeah.
something wrong with this machine from
I'm
yesterday.
just finishing off. Now,
ridiculous.
who's actually done once a week.
Sometimes happens with me, my machine also.
Also the same.
It's because I don't have internet. It's
That's
going
the
nuts.
Yeah, I'll give you all the data, like all the exports that I get from my learning.
Still same.
Yeah, it's still.
Right. So I'm quite open to the occasional question. Okay, so if somebody doesn't know an acronym and everybody else in the room doesn't know that acronym, then I'll probably help out a little bit along the way. Okay.
Windchill's an acronym?
Yeah, so Windchill is no, but it is. You have to tell me what it is.
Ah.
Okay. So on the last page, I've sort of diverted from acronyms to actually a description, if you like. Okay. So I changed the rules up a little bit along the way. And that's probably only because I was running out of acronyms. Okay, so.
Maybe you can just try to check. It might have copied.
The internet is.
Yeah.
But you logged me on here, didn't you? No?
The internet had a few issues that went. They're upgrading it.
Bowen can help.
Upgrading your firewall.
Yeah, we've had security breaches.
It's happening everywhere, and we're just not prepared for it because, trust me, I don't care what system you're in, it's happening. Everything's password protected, right? And so therefore, if we can set a password, somebody can find out what that password is. So
This is.
yeah, that's it.
That's it.
No, top one.
This one.
Workshop. Yeah. No, you won't find it. I don't want to repair it.
It's not coming through. No. Maybe once again. I'll just recheck it. Just try it once again. It was showing it's already presented.
There's only half of it probably. Okay. And now that I'm doing that, I can't even get back into the presentation. So somebody stuck on one? Give us a somebody throw me one. I'll see if I can remember what it is. JPEG. Yes, it's actually the name of the council that formed
It's
the
joint
format.
photographic expert
Yeah, so joint photographic
expert group.
Group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys actually, yesterday, the phones come out, ChatGPT come out, Google come out. Everybody was cheating like you wouldn't believe yesterday. It's good to see that you are not. It's awesome.
Wait, wouldn't joint
Photography,
Photographical-
expert,
Joint
expert,
photographic.
expert.
expert group,
Yeah.
that would be JPEG, JPEG, which is a different file to JPG.
Everything's been truncated. Even Excel used to be
Okay.
XLS,
Right,
and now it's actually
But
changed
they
to
are
OLED.
they are different files, a JPEG and a
This is just
JPG.
an older version.
Ah, okay.
Now, at the end of this, we have to upload, take images of these, right? These 3-4 pages, and upload them to your open learning session.
Yeah,
Is that how it is?
that is for your submission of
Yeah.
for the open learning is great. Yeah.
Yep.
And then also later on the one image of the product.
Yeah, so at the end, when we're doing the practical and we're using AR and we're using your phone, we're going to get you to take a snapshot of your screen of what you see or the experience, and then we're going to upload that as well. Okay, so there are 2 requirements today that we must meet, and that's one is this document uploaded as a photograph to Open Learning, and the other one is an experience of your using AR on your phone. Okay, so we have to get them uploaded today.
And then for the student who actually enrolled in digital design subject, so this worksheet should be your workbook 10 as well. So you have to complete all the pages and submit that to views for marking.
So what was that course? Industrial.
Saving.
Digital,
Modern
modern digital design.
Oh, right, okay, so we've got a couple of streams here.
Presentation we're trying to
Yeah.
save,
Yes.
but it's going into loops.
So those are the you can go in
Oh,
We just want to take some presentation to this machine. No, actually.
There it is. It's fine. It's coming. So easy. I don't even use it.
You may need to close it or directly pull it out.
Yep.
It's okay.
What if it's like subtraction manufacturing, like that's not. You say what it is.
It's one GB.
So subtracting manufacturing, what is it? It's machining, isn't it? So CNC.
Removing materials.
Is removing material, so CNC is theoretically the process. Okay. Or manual machining, if you like.
Yeah.
Right, but as long as you understand the difference between additive manufacturing, so 3D printing, I think I just give away an answer there as well, right? And subtractive manufacturing, which is actually machining or CNC. And we call it CNC because we're actually machining off the digital part. When you're manually machining, you're not actually relying on the digital part, you're all looking at drawings and your own mentality, okay? So that's the difference between the two. Righto, so just pull, what's PDF? So did anybody find the answer for PDF? So it's an actual PostScript file, Adobe PDF.
Yeah. What are we,
Awesome. Want to yell that out, everybody? Did everybody hear that? PDF? Cool. Why is PDF so widely used in industry? because you can't open it and change it. You can't manipulate it. You can't, right? It's a protected type document, right? It's not a Word where you can hack into it and actually get it to change, right? So it's a more secure form of information to send out. It'll send out documents, text, pictures, images, whatever. All right. So who's got to the back page? Back page is a little bit different. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the back page. So obviously, Windshield, Euphoria, ThingWorks, and Navigator are a PTC product. So I'm going to let you know what they are. Okay. So we use PTC PLM software, that's our AR software, our connected IoT software, our app viewer, and our CAD software. Okay. So there's some answers for you from the back page. Can anybody remember what Industry 1 was? Steam engine. Okay, or the steam evolution. Okay, Industry 1. Well done. Oh, thank you. What about Industry 2? Industry 2 is when we started to really make a lot of things at the same time. So mass production, right? Automation, that sort of thing. Production line. Henry Ford, right, was the one responsible for theoretically Industry 2 in making the Ford Model T car. Okay, where he set up an assembly line, right? And he started to do that mass production type. Back in steam, everything was bespoke, one-offs. You know, we didn't have to worry about it too much. But in Industry 2, we started to make a lot of the things the same. So therefore, we had to start identifying different ones along the way, okay? What about Industry 3? I was in the Industry 3 revolution. So this is where we started to use CAD, computers, to help us. Right along the way, we had that sort of computer evolution, if you like. You are about to go through another computer evolution. Who knows it? No?
Internet of Things. Internet of Things.
Nope.
You mean what they call quantum computers?
Quantum computing. Okay. So you guys are going to see the next step in evolution of computers with quantum computing. Right? Now, quantum computing is exciting, but AI using quantum computing can actually calculate quicker than we can blink. Okay. So therefore, if it makes a decision, if AI decides to make a decision, it's going to do it before we even actually know it's done. Using this quantum computing. There's a new company in Queensland that's actually been funded to develop the first quantum computer in Australia. So it is actually here, it is actually a thing, it is actually happening, right? So again, 5G network, quantum computing, everything's just going to be so much quicker, so much easier, whatever else. Okay, Industry 4 is where we are today. You should know what Industry 4 is. What is it? IoT? Internet of Things? What else is it? Anybody else got more? AR. Yeah, so it's, yep, AR is augmented reality. It's helping us with our Industry 4, but it's really the Internet of Things that is helping us develop on the top of the 4G, 5G network that is allowing us to develop where we are today. Okay, so we're using what? Robotics, right? We're using simulation, we're using computing power, right? We're using the network to communicate, doing visualization, right? And obviously I haven't put in there Industry 5, which is theoretically AI. Okay, the next step, AI, artificial intelligence. Keep in mind whether artificial intelligence is either narrow or broad, self-thinking. We only concentrate on PTC as narrow. So the AI is never going to escape and damage anything. It's controlled by our parameters, right? Compared to broad AI. Okay. And anybody got a concept of digital twin?
Just like a digital version of a physical.
Of a physical part.
whatever
Yep.
it is.
Yep. So it's a digital version of a physical component. And the reason we do that is we can then simulate on our digital part to tell us what's actually going to happen with the real physical component. Okay. Right. So is that the back page? Or is there one more page?
No,
That's the back one done? Okay. Oh, sorry, thank you. There's the next one. Oh, hang on, what happened? Let's screw it up. Yep.
The last one. This one.
Yeah, that one. But no, the text is actually screwed up. After digital twin, it says app, out of the box, cloud, WCA, Leap, Azure. They've when it's printed, it's all-
Yeah.
Okay. So what's an app? Yep. Application. It's actually application software or an application tool, if you like. OOTB out of the box. I think I already said that in the previous slide today. Okay. Anybody got an idea for cloud? What is it?
So internet-based service storage, essentially.
Yep. So it's an IoT platform, isn't it? At the cloud, right? But it costs you a fortune. Yes.
Who's you, the user or
The end user. Yeah. So if you want to host something on the cloud,
Oh, okay. You
right?
mean-
So you're buying a platform off them, a computer.
Right.
You're
okay.
buying access on that. You're buying the security, the management, and all that out of that service online.
Some cloud platforms for the personal use are free, but for the industrial use.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
what I thought.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like-
sorry, for industry. I'm talking about sorry, industry.
Yeah.
Right. So
For personal use. it's-
we have just a bit of background. Windchill hosted on the cloud for a customer using a recommended server platform is going to be around $60,000 a year as an infrastructure cost. Who thinks that's reasonable and fair? I thought that was a bit high, actually, because you can buy a server for about 15 grand. Right? Yes, you probably have to have an administrator or a person, or IT person to look after it, but you need that anyway, even with cloud. Right? You need an IT department, right? So theoretically, it's like 4 times as much to host that software on the cloud and have it managed than having it yourself. Okay? I was quite surprised at the cost. Right? So that particular software, that company, Windchill, $15,000. To host it and run it, $60,000. Wow, that's a big difference between the two. Okay, so one comes from one budget, and one comes from another budget. So, yeah, bit interesting. Okay, so hopefully there's a few there that you may not, you're aware of them, but what they actually are. So Azure is a brand name of a cloud-based platform provider. Like, yep, Microsoft Azure, right? There's Amazon, there's a few, isn't there? I don't know, they're slowly building. PTC actually has their own cloud hosting service as well. Okay, so certain platforms of IoT with PTC, they actually host it for you. Today, when you use AR, when you publish out of our software to get an experience, that actually goes to the PTC cloud, gets processed and comes back, and you get a QR code sent back to you. Okay, so we're using the PTC cloud. WT part, I think I've harped on about that over and over and over again. Windchill technology part, which is theoretically a copy of a bucket of the CAD part, where you can put all the associated information into. Okay. Your course is a micro-credential. What is that? What does it mean for you, the micro-cred? Is it points towards you? It is points, is it?
It's 2 credit points.
2 credit points. Okay, cool. Okay. Right. So it's a short industry-based course that is funded actually by government. It's an initiative to try and help us get to you guys before you get to industry. Serial number? You already saw that on page 1, didn't you? Right. So the first page was what is it? You would have said serial number. The second one, what is a serial number? It is a unique build number, isn't it? It's a unique number. There is no other number the same as a serial number on any product. You cannot have 2 products the same with the same serial number. Okay, a serial number is a unique build of a component. Okay, so your car has a serial number. It will not be the same as any other model, same car. It's a unique identifier, serial number. Okay. And the URL that we use to get into Windshield, right, is a uniform resource locator. It's just IT tech language. Okay. So I'm going to pull it up there with some free answers, and hopefully the rest. Well, so there'll be one more I'll help you with. It says the digital thread stages. Okay, so it'll give them the rest of it. Does anybody remember the steps in the digital thread? Do they remember the iPhone? When I showed you the iPhone and the steps of the iPhone, when it had it on its wrist and then a build and whatever else. Can anybody remember the steps, or maybe one step? The first step was actually plan, wasn't it? Plan for the design. So if you guys are contemplating a new electric car, what do? You sit down and plan it first, don't you? Yeah. You just don't go and go, oh, here's some tires, here's some, you actually plan what it is, what it's going to achieve, what you want it to do, how big it's going to be, how many people it's going to hold, how long it's going to last, how fast it needs to go. So you're planning all these requirements. Okay, so that's the first point of the digital thread. Okay, the next is then to get a concept. What's it going to look like? That car, is it going to be with 2 people in it? Hell no, I'm big enough to be 2 people anyway, right? So you want little people in it to make it faster. Okay, so that's the concept, right? Then after you get those 2, you put them together, and what are you going to get? A design. So you're taking those two articles, right? The plan and the concept, and you're then taking that through to the design stage. What happens after you design it? You've got to validate it. You've got to test it. You've got to make sure it works. Okay, it's not going to break. Last thing you want to do is get out on the racetrack and go, oh, didn't think about that. We didn't test that. So you want to validate that design. Then once you validate, then you can take it to where? Production. You can then get it into assembly. You can produce in production. Okay. You can give it the green tick on a revision and change management and say, yes, please produce this. Everybody can see that design. Okay. And then the last one, you have to support it. So once that design is out there, then you have to support it with what? Spare parts, manuals, servicing, all these sort of things. Okay. So that's the digital thread process for us. Okay. Everybody come for that? Do you guys use that in your car process at all? Do you think about servicing at the end? Do you think about spare parts? Do you think about? Yeah. Cool. Have you got a spec to read of what it should do and what it should achieve and things like that? So you're being set design requirements. You don't have your own. You just meet design requirements.
No, so we set a design.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Technical team, and then from there we set design from critical design.
Excellent.
That's kind of too. Like the World Cell Challenge has their design
overarching rules, and then you can manipulate.
And then they'll say like you have to have 4 wheels, and then we'll design the suspension for that, and then within the team we'll decide what safety factors we want to push.
Yep.
And then we're going to figure out like our processes for all the simulation validation data.
So it has to have 3 wheels.
Minimum
3 wheels.
That's a rule. So that's a must, and then.
So it could be a motorbike with just a little tiny wheel off to the side to get a 3rd wheel, or they have to be a certain size. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So it's interesting how you go about meeting that criteria. But where do you test it?
We tested it at Sydney Motorsport Park, and then we used to do with PD, and then tested on the Stewart Highway.
Oh, yeah, right, up towards Alice Springs. On that big south of, yeah. Yep. Awesome. So when is this test date?
So it will be
291 days.
Yeah.
With a brand new car.
Is that where that bit of sweat went down your nose there, 0 to 91 days? So obviously you're pushing the envelope.
Yeah, I mean, the regulations come out of June, so. Yeah.
It's pretty tight.
It is very
Have you
tight.
ever has WSU produced an electric car before?
Yeah, we're.
and it's like
I have. Oh, so you've actually got a design and you can evolve that design, or you started with a fresh bit of paper?
They slammed us with a massive regulation change, so
Yeah.
everyone's starting from scratch pretty much, so it's gonna be interesting.
Still standard parts that we get.
There is good, okay.
Yeah.
So the beauty of that, you could, if Winchell was used previously, you could have called it up and theoretically grab the structure of the bomb and go on and use that, use that, use that, use that. Right, so the beauty of that is you've really got a plan, technical planning process already. Right, so, but yeah, no, so it's something, hopefully, if you can start to use Winchell then for the next generation,
Yeah.
they may be able to use that idea and technology to help them design that, okay? Cool. The manual way is not, there's no, everything's still manual, trust me. We're trying to make it easier, but. So if I showed you this, what is that? What is QR sensor? Anybody know QR sensor, QR code? Quick reference. Okay. So this is, what is this taken over from? Barcode. Right, barcode was nothing but a serialized number system, right, and it's now gone to this, which gives it ultimate more definition and options than a standard serial number. Okay, standard serial number I think was or barcode was 12 digits, I think, and you're limited to that 12 digit. This is now endless, right? The possibilities that you can have with this. Anybody use this on their LinkedIn as their profile so people can just scan them and they know who they are? So in LinkedIn, you can create your own QR code of yourself and you can have it as your business card.
We have a.
I do, okay. Well, then probably create a QR code for that so that people can see what you're doing and you can invite them to your thing. Cool, okay. So today we're going to be using heavily QR codes. Right, so what we've done is we've gone into Winchell, into our designers and whatnot, and Winchell has an option there to be able to promote and export a Winchell, a Vuforia or an AR experience. And then once we export it, it comes back as a QR code, and then anybody can see that experience. Okay, and that's what we're going to look at today. Okay, everybody comfortable with MFG? Yep, cool. And you probably didn't know, but PTC stands for Parametric Technology Corporation. Okay, they just like to be known as PTC today. They don't like to be called Parametric Technology Corp. It's just PTC. Okay, so that actually should give you the second last page, hopefully. Who's going to finishing nearly the whole lot? MFG, manufacturing.
Oh, just okay.
Yep, just the acronym for manufacturing. Technically known when I was going through as the slobs on the floor. Okay, manufacturing. Our times have changed. Okay. Who got the question O and V? I bet you nobody. No. Right, so in Winchell, I talked about it a little bit, where we have a bill of materials, where we can overload a bill of materials. Remember you had the Ski-Doo and it had multiple screens? Right, we could go through and pick the options and variants that we wanted. The OMV, options and variants of a product. We use Winchell to give us those options and variants, okay? Does that remember that demo of the Ski-Doo with the different screens? Right, that's called an overloaded BOM. And then we can pick and choose the components we want out of that BOM, so we can pick the options we want and therefore come up with variants in the design, okay? So that's ONV. Somebody must be getting close to yelling out bingo. No?
ice car demo.
Hmm.
What the options and variants demonstration ice car, some car over there.
Oh, when? Today?
No, in the video.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Was it a car or a scooter?
Yeah.
That's what I want to do is have a look at this. Okay. So while you're all doing that, I'll play a little bit of a video for you. Can I play video? Why is this funny?
Is there any URL in the background where it actually play in the browser? The URL is there.
How do I-
Properties somewhere.
It should be a hyperlink. It should be embedded.
Let's try to play.
No, cannot play. No. What? So this one won't play either.
I think have you downloaded those on the machine?
Well,
If
they
you
should
can
be
link-
they should be embedded in the actual. That's why the
Yeah,
files
yeah,
are so big.
Yeah,
Can I just try one thing for a minute? Where's the screen share? F5, isn't it? Yeah.
You go into the
There's one and two screens. Why have I got two screens? Okay, PC screen. Few changes. I've got two screens. Can you click on it, Jennifer? Yeah, but it's showing, it's recognizing your two.
No, this is like it is taking asking for this second option.
If I pull that. I never had a problem until yesterday afternoon with Western Sydney University, and then it's stuffed up.
Is there any other?
No, I don't have any other port. No. I have actually.
Trying to change it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this will work.
So it's not. Is it in for the? Cool. Got it. So it's that port. Okay. Why is it showing? So we should have one and two. Yep.
Yeah, that is second.
Yes.
So you can just click on
Drag
the-
across.
yeah.
So if you go on to top, no, that whole top part,
Yeah.
now you drag it across to the right, and then go past the screen. Move it up. Do you mind if I do it?
No, go for it. So it should come through here, shouldn't it? That's the second screen. Right.
From this slide. Sorry, from this slide.
I was just going to try and see if the videos work.
Yeah.
Right, because
Well, no, so now, sorry.
Well, what we'll do, we'll just project the whole.
Should I just do it to click
We'll
that screen?
just duplicate this. This is screen.
triplicate, right?
Yeah, duplicate, yeah.
Cool.
So now let's hopefully play a video.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
Just click on it. Now you should get to one through.
Yeah, it's coming.
Refined connected vehicles is creating new opportunities and challenges for automotive OEMs and their suppliers. To capitalize on these opportunities, manufacturers must respond quickly to new market requirements by delivering innovation faster without compromising quality and safety. Let's see how PTC's digital thread solutions help an EV manufacturer leverage connected data to accelerate the time to industrialization of new capabilities. After analyzing vehicle sensor data, their product team discovers a pattern. A subset of cars has a higher range after charging in warmer conditions. To confirm this insight, engineering modifies the designs and reruns simulations on their digital twin. The results are used to improve battery management. Engineers update the requirements and the system logs. Then
Finished.
immediately validate the modification to check if the new design satisfies the requirements. Because there is a digital thread connected to the system model, requirements, and the engineering bill of materials, the team is alerted by a suspect that identifies the changed components. In this case, a different battery pack. Not only is this innovation important during the design process, but it is also critical for regulatory audits. The associated control code is automatically generated from the updated model. Continuing the digital thread, the changes are automatically associated to the manufacturing model. Engineers compare differences and update the plant-specific process plans and work instructions. The digital thread also extends to service maintenance areas. The updated service instructions could optionally include replacing the battery pack and/or over-the-air software updates. The automotive industry is entering a new era. PTC's digital twin solutions keep you ahead of the competition by helping to rapidly design, build, and deliver the next generation of products and services.
Some of them would guess that could be quite. Yeah.
I still reckon AI is the real Australia.
So what does LEAP stand for?
Leading engineering,
It's I love your arrows. Sorry, because of the. Yeah, missing a zero.
Oh, I'm not listening to
What's a zero?
It's Microsoft.
Cloud service. Good service. It's on the end of LEAP.
Yeah.
What, you need another arrow?
No.
Okay. So, looks like we have a winner.
That's all right, I'll check the lunch.
$50, 20 waves, we're all gonna get a chocolate.
I didn't say 20 waves.
Go straight to the team anyway. Oh, hang on, what's,
It's Microsoft.
what's FFF? Fit, form and function. What is it?
Application.
You're missing one. Sorry. Oh, you've been led astray.
I'll go right. They're wrong.
Okay, so hopefully everybody's got that
Right.
finished, completed, and you've taken a photo and you've uploaded it to your learning.
So you accept him as a winner?
This way,
Yeah.
yeah, third time lucky.
Second thing. So you just upload that to. Yeah.
Okay, so please have your name on it. Please take a photo of it. Please upload it to the open learning. So that if anybody has any missing ones and they want, please ask.
What's up,
Yeah,
sometimes she's got to get it done.
We might ask the solar car team to help us with the rest of the answers then.
Every man for himself.
It's all
Every man from
it's all smoke and mirrors now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little experience.
Just in case you forget, you have to submit your attendance for the open learning as well. Or have you done with that?
Because it was a requirement that you had to turn up to 3 practical sessions, every one of them, I believe. We had a couple of guys turn up yesterday, there hadn't been any of them.
Yeah.
So it was a bit surprising. They were sort of caught with their pants. It was like, well, where's the document? Okay, so that was a very interesting video of technology. When you've uploaded your doc, right, we can have a very short break and we're going to go to another room, I believe. Oh, we're going to go and do it in here, are we? Oh, right, we're set up. Okay. Sorry?
WI. I know it's not Wisconsin, but
Work instruction. Yeah, WI. So when you want manufacturing to put something together, you normally give them a work instruction. So WI stands for work instruction. Right? So normally that's provided by engineering. People call it procedures, manufacturing procedures, work instructions. That's up to engineering to produce. You designed it, you've got to tell them how to put it together. Today we're going to show you how to use AR as a work instruction. Okay? A digital instruction, not a paper-based instruction. Okay? Any other questions? I'm trying to give my wife directions to him.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to.
I have the message, the parking, I'll forward.
Because I thought you could actually share your location.
I'll send like.
This one open then? This one. Which one for the?
Thank you.
I think I might that become 5 citizens at this. 5 or
Yeah, so if you need it,
yeah, I did it.
you also want?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good as a right friend, but
My name from one on there. You upload it on open already? Oh, I got that one as well. Yeah. And then upload on
And then
Yeah, if you get a good one, that'd be great. Thank you.
yeah.
also doing that up it's no.
Do you remember the rocketing windshield
Mechanical.
that we looked at very first? Yeah. I would like for you to go into your AR app that you downloaded and scan that QR code.
yes.
I don't
They working?
Oh.
We had some fun yesterday. Okay. That's a QR code to so on your phone, you have Euphoria View. And I'm handing around a few QR codes. Right, and I'd like to discuss it with you guys as you go through. Right. What do you guys find?
You scan it with the app open or just a camera?
At the app, there's a button in the middle, down the bottom of the app, when you open the app. And it has a square box, and it asks you then to scan the QR code.
What are you doing? Yeah, mine just doesn't scan.
Just try and go in and out a little bit. See if it works for you. You'll need internet access to do it. This is the only limitation. So if you're going to a mine site or a field somewhere or whatever, you got to make sure that you have internet access, or it's got to be downloaded.